Howdy there, YouTube. Today we're going to be... got my finger in the way. Well, today we're going to be doing one of the required fixes for anyone that has a 258 AMC engine for the 81 through 86 model years. I'm pretty sure this covers most of the Jeeps and, well, if you got an Eagle like me. But basically, AMC, I guess in a bid to save a little bit more money, decided to go with this new plastic valve cover. Which the plastic isn't really the problem. The problem is that they didn't use all the bolt holes in the head and just decided to use guide pins. Just, I guess, to save a couple more cents for bolts. And what ended up happening is it just leaks everywhere. I mean, you can see the oil everywhere, and it's really bad on the underside. It's burning on the exhaust and just caked all the way back up to the rear of the transmission. So it goes through about a quart of oil every week. It's how bad it is, and unfortunately there's only, well, like two, I guess you can count a third way of fixing it. First off, you can do what I can do, and you gotta get this omix-ada valve cover. It's an cast aluminum valve cover, and you gotta tap some holes, which is why I got two sets of taps. I got my bottom tap, and then I got a regular chamfered in tap right there to get them started. And this one had the drill bit included because some people said some of the holes just weren't there and you had to drill them out. So hopefully I won't have to do any of that, but it's a possibility. The other way to fix it is to go with a 4-liter head swap, but it's a little bit more expensive, and you gotta cover up some of the coolant passages because they added more coolant passages when they upgraded the engine to the 4-liter. And then the third way is just to swap out the engine. I don't think you really want to be doing that just to fix a leaky valve cover. You could try dumping on a bunch of silicone to seal it up, but I don't think that's going to work. And then you might run a risk of having gobs of silicone that might drop into the engine. So to get started, your engine probably won't look like this. I mean, you'll probably have the stock carburetor with a big old air box and everything, and all the vacuum lines sitting on top of the valve cover. So, if that's the case, you probably also want to take the time to get yourself a different carburetor. The Carter carb and the Carter electronic feedback weren't really all that great. And then you could also upgrade your ignition. I got a Ford system from a 300 and a TFI coil. You can get an HEI. They're pretty cheap for these engines. Yeah, I'd recommend doing that. It really helped this car drive a lot. I kind of regret not doing the valve cover during that time because it's just been going through oil like crazy. I mean, you can see I got all this soak up shit because it's just horribly bad. So you'll want to get all that stuff out of the way. We're going to be disconnecting the fuel line here just to get this out of the way. These heater hoses, I really don't want to disconnect them because I don't want coolant to go everywhere. But we may have to undo those, which... oh well, anyway. We're going to be also taking off the wiper motor, because that's kind of in the way. There's a hole back there underneath all that wiring. That's going to be the real fun one. And, well, that's just about it for me. I have to get out of the way, at least. I mean, everything else I think can just sort of slide out of the way. So, that's about 160 bucks on eBay. Kind of expensive. You'll definitely need a bottom tap to get the holes properly tapped. I think it's here, it says right here. That's what you want, a 5/16 with the well, if the camera will ever focus, hopefully someday. There we go. That's pretty much what you want, but this is a through tap with the chamfered in. I got this just to make it easier to start the holes, but you'll at least want the bottom tap. In this one you'll probably have to get online somewhere, unless you have a good tool shop somewhere near you. So, enough of the talking. Let's start just getting everything out of the way. And another thing you may want to do is maybe just take a little bit of cleaner and just kind of clean up the gunk if you got a lot of it built up around there. Because I did clean up the engine beforehand, and it like probably like that thick of buildup on the sides of the block. It was leaking for 30 years or so, and you know, that's what happens. So anyway, let's get started and tear into it. So I'm getting this wiper motor out of the way first. We got this little electrical connector. It's just a simple pull apart one. A little tight, but it'll come apart. Then a 5/16 bolt with 4 of them that holds this whole bracket to the firewall. And then there's going to be a little clip that holds the motor to the wiper shafts. These aren't too tight at all. They're just a little tiny, I think just screws, or even not even really bolts. Yeah, just little tiny screws. Pretty simple. Alright, and then there's a little clip right there. That's kind of hard to get at. But you gotta like pop it off like, and then pull out. I would show you, but I need my hands, so there it is anyway. You'll need a flathead screwdriver to get that. Alright, so it came out a little bit difficult to reach at because you don't have much room, but here's that clip I was talking about. You know, it kind of came in on there like that and held itself together in a magical way around that shaft. It's really hard to concentrate looking at two things, but yeah. And hopefully you'll find yours when it falls down, because that's exactly what happened to me. It just kind of hit the ground, luckily. Nice to see that that's all nice and clean in there. Good old AMCs. Don't rust up. So now that's out of the way. Well, I think, looking at it now, I might be able to tap that rear hole easily by going over top here. Yeah, maybe. It's just down there on an angle, so yeah. Might be able to do that. And, oh yeah, let's just get this fuel line out of the way and then start unbolting this valve cover. I mean, a couple loose connections here and there. Not much. Alright, so just in case you thought that removal of the wiper motor wasn't necessary, think again. That back one is a real pain in the ass to get to. Because the firewall kind of, well, that piece of it anyway, comes down an angle, pretty much prevents you from getting it straight. So you gotta really get a swivel joint in there, and then I got a swivel joint extender right there. It kind of allows for some bending to happen, but boy, it doesn't help that all the wiring's back there either. I mean, what a mess. You're probably gonna need a couple beers. Otherwise, everything else seems to be coming out on pretty nicely. I noticed back ones back there were a little loose, which doesn't help the cause, but people, they all leak on everyone anyway. But here's the bolts themselves, 7/16, and what were these? Short-term memory loss, 5/8, and they come off really easy. You got these ones kind of clamping down on it on this side, the driver's side, and you got these regular bolt ones all on these sides and right in there. And it looks like another one of these in the very back. So all those come out. It's just that rear one's a real pain in the ass, and hopefully it comes out easy. Yeah, there's your little tiny back one right there. And yeah, that worked out pretty well actually. A little easier than I thought. I figured just keep jumping off the head of that bolt and being a major pain in the ass in general. So I think I got all the wiring out of the way for the most part. And by the way, that's an AC line, not a coolant line, so I really can't disconnect that. Ooh. AC's a bad option. But I think this seems ready to come out. Unless there's something else holding it. No, I might just need 2 hands is all. I think my phone just went into a straight up and down video right there for you. My apologies, it just does what it wants. Yeah, but I'm gonna need 2 hands, so I can't just show you the magic of this pulling out. Oh well. Well, unfortunately, that AC line is preventing this valve cover from lifting out. It's just right over top there, and it's kind of concerning me because it might have to just need a new line altogether, because that's a little bit taller of a valve cover. So, yeah. Basically, what I'm going to try to do is just remove the AC enough just to get it out of the way, and then hopefully be able to wiggle new one in and all that. Doesn't look like it'd be too difficult though. I mean, just loosen the belt, and then there's two bolts basically, and then a little bracket bolt right there. So we'll go ahead and just do that, and then it can't be avoided. But there's the insides of my engine, yay! You can see the victory coming up. You can see all the oil just pooled up inside the driver's side. Well guys, to get those hoses out of the way, you gotta loosen up your belts and then loosen up the alternator to get it out. Unfortunately, a bolt down there is kind of seized, so it's kind of just, well, the nut and the stud are seized together, so it's basically just not coming apart. And I gotta wrestle out a whole bunch of shit and then finally move out of the way. And it's just being well, difficult, to say the least. So I decided to give it one more go at the valve cover. I think I got it. I think I finally got it. Still fighting. Yeah, here we go. The only way to remove a valve cover, just fucking break it in half. There we go. That's literally a couple hours worth of dicking around, just trying to get shit unloosened. So fuck it. There's a time and place for fuck it. Fuel line looks fine still. Everything else looks fine. I don't know what this bare wire is for. What was that solenoid down there? There's a couple more bare wiring. I think someone at one point did dick around with a lot of wiring and stuff, which is why some of that's like that. But everything seems to work, so I guess nothing to be too concerned about. I think this was a vacuum gauge or something to figure out where all that went. Yeah, probably right here. Yeah, good guess. Oh yeah, everything's pretty much there still. Alright, so the holes to tap. I think there's only actually two, because I'm looking at my new valve cover. It's like, okay, I had the back hole, front hole, and all those holes on the side, except the driver's side. So it looks like there's only actually just two holes to tap. So it's like, okay, that makes things simpler. And that looks like one right there. Although it looks like there's already something in the hole. Yeah. Maybe not, it's just probably a little build up. And there's that one back there. Not too hard to get to. I thought there was holes all around the damn thing. Well, I should have paid attention more, I guess. That's a sigh of relief. So I'll probably start cobbling this back together. There's a bolt underneath that idler. You see there I had my crow's foot trying to get it, and it's just stuck on there, and there's a bolt for the slide adjustment for the alternator just to loosen up this belt, and that's where I'm having trouble. So I got this loosened up, and you got two bolts on the bottom, so maybe it'll come apart for you better, or you could just do what I did and just literally just grab the fucker and pry up till it breaks in half, then pull out the two damn halves, because it's not like you're gonna want to use this fucker ever again. Nasty, cruddy, little rubber Permatex action maybe. Here's one of the guide pins. I think that's like a gasket maker. I think someone once tried to salvage it. You can't. For shit. I don't even know why people try to sell those brand new on eBay. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to try and peel off. Well, I don't think there's anything to peel off. But if there's any gasket material, you want to peel that off. Brake clean is good, you know, you just want to get the surfaces all cleaned up. You also want to grab a bunch of towels and start covering up your holes. I don't think any chunks of plastic went down in there. And if they did a chunk of plastic, you know, it's probably not going to do any harm, really. It's the small, fine stuff that does the harm. I mean, your filter, your oil pump has a pre-screen on here. They'll just catch stuff, and worst will happen, you'll notice your oil pressure might start lowering. I got a gauge in the car, so I can just watch it and be careful. I plan on changing oil anyway because I've been just putting really questionable off-brand stuff like National. It's got the API SN on that one though. Yeah, no, I had a bottle of yeah, SF quality. It does have an API service thing. It's junk. It's worse than junk. It's Hitler in a bottle for your car. And your engine's also juice. So if that gives you an idea. I think I threw the other bottle out already. But yeah, so I don't think there's any concern with any of that. Just plug up your holes, clean it up, and then we'll get ready to tap those 2 holes, I guess. Just 2. So, neato. Alright then, so we're relatively cleaned up with the head and surfaces. I'm not perfectly clean yet, but I don't want to get to that point yet because I got to still tap these holes. So yeah, there's 2 holes. Right on the driver's side. I thought there'd be more. And here's one of them. You can't see it. Now you can, sorta. And then one over there. There. So I'm going to use a 2-tap method. I'm going to use my normal tap, and then you go switch to the bottom tap. And of course, you want your little tap handle there. And as far as tapping goes, it's not too difficult. You just want to try to be as straight as possible. And it'll kind of straighten itself out as it kind of goes into the hole, so you don't have to be too worried about getting screwed and buggered. And you just basically go a little turn, then you back it off, then turn, more, back off, and just kind of work your way through it. And that's really all it's to, just tapping a hole. I mean, you'll occasionally spray some lube, any kind, you know, I got some more oil right there too. Just to kind of keep it lubricated as it cuts down in the head. And it's pretty straightforward stuff, actually. I mean, I would probably do it one-handed, but, you know, it's kind of difficult to do with just one hand. It's not the heaviest oil, but I'm sure it'll work fine. I'm not really paying attention to the screen, so sorry if you can't see anything. You'll feel it start to grab. I'm looking sort of straight, I think. Maybe a little bit forward. But you can kind of hear it starting to make its way in. It's always the most difficult to start one of these, so this is the hardest part. Once you got started, it's just a matter of just putting it through. Worst case scenario, I got the wrong taps. That'd be hilarious. See, I'm started. So see, that's looking pretty straight. That's really all there is to it. It's not too difficult. So for any of you that might be scared of doing the tapping yourself, it's pretty easy. I mean, the only difficult, hard to get over part is if you don't really do this often, just be spending money on taps you'll never ever use again. Off a little bit. So as far as it'll go, I'm stuck. If you do get stuck, don't force it, you'll just break the tap. So, pull it out. I went in a couple threads. Of course, that could be only as far deep as it is. Can't even see it, and there it is. I wonder if that is only how deep that hole is. I think that is about. Yeah, we just might be at the, god damn it, that just might be all, it's how deep the hole is, so, Now we'll just clean this off, swap in that tap, and run that down in there. So that's all there is to it, guys. Alright, so I figured I'd also give you a moment to see the differences between the two taps. In case you're wondering what's the difference between a normal tap and a bottom tap. Now if you look at the threads, you see that the normal tap is really chamfered, and threads really don't start cutting until it's about down there. And then the bottom tap, as you can see, it's got the threads pretty much cut right away. Come on. Let it work its stuff. There we go. Now you can see the difference in threads. So that bottom tap will pretty much have the threads made up right away. Alright, here's the result. Get that light. Camera. There you go. There we go. One beautifully tapped hole. And there you got it. That light's gonna burn on fire. But anyway, if I could do that with a couple beers and being all vaped out and a high nicotine content vape juice, you could probably do it too. So, and it really is easy. Just do it, basically. Nowhere else to, no other way of putting it. So make sure I got the right one on here. Start the second one, and I don't do it. No. So I'll get started with the second one, and then finish trying to clean up this, put some brake clean on the surfaces of that, get that all nice and cleaned up, and hopefully be able to squeeze that in there. I only have problems with this stupid one AC line, and I would really just love to just disconnect it right now. But you know, that's a, what, $70,000 fine or something? Anyway, we'll make it work. Now I am using an air hose to clean out these bolt holes. You should be using that, or maybe a good amount of Q-tips and degreaser to clean them out, but air hose usually works best, though. Try not to get anything in your eyes. I just had that happen to me again, getting that rear bolt hole, standing way over here with this long air hose, and a piece just managed to fly right into my eye. If that does happen, don't blink. Grab a Q-tip or, you know, a piece of like toilet paper cloth or anything, and try to be very gently wipe that off your eye. Especially with metal, what happens is it'll rust up, and, well, then you have to go to the eye doctor like every week and have your eye ground down and shit like that, and it's probably extraordinarily excruciating pain, so don't do that. Probably should wear safety glasses, but we're all dumbasses, so close your eyes instead. But I got that second hole back there tapped. Again, it was simple. I keep reading about people going, oh, it's so difficult. It's not. It's the easiest part. Look at that beautiful hole. Perfectly tapped. So, now we get back to the excruciatingly challenging part of getting a valve cover in. I broke the old one in half just out of freaking frustration of fucking not coming out. So I can only imagine this new one, the one I don't want to scratch or break or mangle up in any way. Yeah, it's not gonna be fun. I'm kind of putting it off. So I guess we'll just start doing some final cleaning around the head there. It'd be really nice if I had like a little Scotch-Brite pad, a really fine grit one, or I want to say emery cloth. I don't think I got any though, but yeah, I just gotta make sure these surfaces are nice and clean for optimal sealing, especially if you're gonna use some silicone around here. And then, yeah, once you get it all in position, it's just a matter of just throwing it back together, and then starting it up after a day of the silicone drying. If you got that, you know, I might want to retighten it after it dries, and just checking for leaks. And hopefully it won't have any, because that's the whole point of this whole thing. Alright, so now I ran into a huge problem. I think I got one of these oddball cylinder heads, which I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what AMC did, but I guess they were just doing whatever for whatever engine. But just going looking through my bolts, I noticed all these are large bolts except a couple. Literally just 2 bolts, and the rest of them are larger. Open that up wider. There, most of them are that size. And then you have 2 of these small ones. Well, these larger ones will thread into the holes that we just made. But they will not thread into any of these holes, because these holes are too small. But these small ones will. I'm like, okay, so am I supposed to drill out all the damn holes except 2 of them? So I have to reread this instruction sheet here. The 5/16 holes are not threaded. Check again if not tapped these holes. In some applications, it may be required to drill and tap 2 holes in the front and back of the head. Well, I already got those 2 holes drilled and tapped. So, but I have to do each of them on the sides or something. I don't know. So, they're also saying you gotta replace the non-studded rocker bridges with, or the studded rocker arm bridges with non-studded bridges. Yeah, those look like bolts, so I think I'm good on that. Shine the light so I can see. But yeah, so I think I get what people are going after, because you had to drill and tap that rear one. God have mercy on your soul. This front one ain't too bad. You can see I got one of the bolts in there. This stupid light never cooperates. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just take it off the hook and stick it right there. But yeah, there's that one bolt. So I guess I'm lucky not to drill those out, but I'm kind of screwed because the stores are all closed. I would have just said screw it and just bought some bolts and some washers and just thread those in like so. But seeing how it's later in the day, Saturday, and I kind of missed that part way earlier. Big mistake on my fault. I'm kind of screwed. And I have no choice either to find a ride to work, which ain't going to be too big of a problem to do that, or screw this light, or just go ahead and drill them out. I think I might just go ahead and just drill it out, fuck it, because I don't want to have mismatching bolts either. I would kind of see. I hate this light. It's literally the worst light ever made. It doesn't fit anywhere. It's just a pain in the ass. So, drilling out these holes shouldn't be too hard, and luckily, remember I bought that one with the included drill bit, so I'm in luck with that at least. Because I figured, just in case I have to drill any holes. But since these holes are already drilled, and, they're tapped and everything, but it shouldn't be theoretically difficult to just drill them. And they're all right here. And then I can just have them all tapped up. So I think I can do that. Because, pre-drilled hole, it's just easy to just drill it out larger. It's just keeping it straight. But then again, it is already pre-drilled. So I think I can do it. I mean, worst case scenario is I screw up my head and, well, So, I don't have a cordless drill either. It's kind of sketchy in a way, but I was just about ready to start throwing this thing back together. Oh well. I guess we'll have to just go for it. I mean, they're not hard to get at. I gotta make sure I know how deep those holes are too, so I don't drill too deep, but I'll give it a shot. Well, I took a little bit of break, but there's one hole I got marked on. I tested it on a piece of scrap metal just to make sure this is the right drill bit, and it is. But hole 1, hopefully no metal shavings got in the head. I plugged it up with towels 2 more to go. Unfortunately, my camera's out of memory, so this will probably be the last vid, so I'll probably have a part 2 up. Alright, I emptied out my card, so I got plenty of space again. I drilled out all these holes now, so that's out of the way. I tapped that first one and it works. Now, one thing I was thinking of is, these holes are a lot deeper than the holes on this side. And sure enough, I checked. I don't think they're going to be deep enough to hold down the valve cover on this side. And that's a particular problem because I'm pretty sure there's coolant passages just right around there. I'm fairly certain of it. I mean, I've heard people drilling in the coolant passages before, so I really don't want to drill those any deeper. So what I'm going to do is I do got these little washers here, and probably find a couple more in my shelving. And I think I'll just try to grind down a certain edge. These are close to fitting in the holes, but I figure this is a lot better. You can kind of see. Not quite lined up, but I can make them line up a little bit better. Or just even use maybe a couple nuts that are a little large for this to slide through there, and then tighten it down. Or just, well, you get the idea. Just gonna space it out so it can clamp down, because I really don't even want to try drilling those any deeper, especially the threads I just put in there. That'd ruin it, and then I don't think you can really repair those once you mangle them without drilling a bigger hole and throwing like a freaking Healy coil for it. So let's just cobble something to work on that side. As far as this side goes, it looks like it's working. Now, I use this little zip tie on the end of that to measure my depth, and it drills pretty much all the way down until the very last bit where you can see where the guys at AMC drilled their original holes. I mean, just a tiny bit anyway. So it's, for all intents and purposes, deep enough. I mean, the most I could do is maybe like a 0.5 millimeter deeper. That's not going to do anything. But first hole tapped. I'm going to just tap those rear ones. I'm really hoping I didn't get any metal shavings in the head, because those are right next to the push rods there. So, yeah. I really wish I would have picked up an oil filter, because I would have done an oil change immediately, just to be sure, but it might have to be driven for a day. Oh well. Just hope it has a good 258 reliability going for me in that. So, 10 o'clock at night, I'm not stopping. Let's get this at least to the point where I could mock things up, and then tomorrow lay down the gaskets and silicone and wrestle that in place. I'm going to just do what I was doing, use my breaker bar to kind of pry up the hose enough. And that, I was going to see if I can get my little brother out here to help me and hold up that wiring in place, because it's really just this stupid AC line that's just in the way. If that wasn't in there, it would just come in and set it down. In fact, I'd be able to mock it up comfortably and take it off, then apply the silicone, which is what you want to do. But because that's in a way, it's going to be pretty much nearly impossible to get that in there. So I'm going to finish tapping out all these holes, and then probably the next video would be seeing me mocking things up or start doing final assembly here. I know some of you guys, you might have to drill these front and rear back holes. Front hole, no problem. Back hole, just do a 4-liter engine swap. There's no way in hell. There is absolutely. I mean, maybe if you felt lucky. Yeah. Feel sorry for anyone that actually had to do that. But I guess I'm lucky only having to drill all but 2 holes, I guess. So, making it work. Alright guys, next day. I just went into it and had some help getting the valve cover on. It is a real big pain in the ass trying to get that underneath the hose, but when you got help, it's a lot easier. If I had help, I could probably get that old one out, bust in half, but it's in. I got some gasket maker from Permatex on both sides of that cork gasket just to make sure it seals in there. The screws on this side seem like they just bottom out as soon as they start touching the valve cover, so I'm not sure those are going to hold it down enough, but maybe that gasket maker will hold it. I'm going to see how it works, but if it still leaks, then I can add some spacers on that side just to clamp it down more. Maybe on this side too. Although I don't think I'll need it on this side. The holes are deep enough. Having a little bit of trouble lining that first one, and that rear one. I'm hoping once I get all these in, we'll kind of go in, and then I'll do the final tightening down. I don't know how many inch-pounds it is, but you know, you can probably get a good feel for it. But otherwise, check that out. If only the rest of the engine bay looked good. Maybe I should paint the head red and get a little freaking red distributor, the yellow wires. I don't know if there's anything I can do about the spaghetti mess back there. I would do a wire tuck, but no. Especially on a daily driver. But yeah, I like that. I'm glad I went with red. The other colors are black and blue. I don't think it's really any other color. Oh, I think you can get it in like a sort of unfinished sort of metal look if you want to paint it yourself. But for the most part, yeah. Nice little red engine. I think AMC engines were blue and black mostly, but I don't care. I want something that would really pop out, and that definitely does it. Looks nice. I love it. So anyway, I'll get this all tightened down, and I'm going to let the silicone kind of sit for a little bit, and then go through and tighten one more time, and then I'll start it up and check for leaks. And hopefully it will be good. Alright guys, so here's the verdict on this valve cover. Don't buy these. Just don't. It doesn't fit. That hole does not line up. I imagine that rear one is not going to line up, and the gasket's missing a hole for the one back there, so whether or not it seals is yet to be seen, but I think I'm going to just sell this car. I'm done with it. This is the only fix that's available, and it worked for so many people, but I guess I'm just unlucky or something, because it just won't line up. Those are in the correct holes. They line up. That one's lined up. So even if I do shave off that bracket right there a little bit just to see if it move over, it just won't matter. I think they drilled the hole in the valve cover in the wrong spot, and it's too late to do really anything about it. And I couldn't really check it beforehand because, you know, these wirings and everything in a way, and it was a main, yeah. So quality control does not exist for, was it a omix-ada, omix-ada? There's just no quality control. They just fucking drilled the holes wherever the fuck they guess felt like it. Same with the way AMC designer heads for valve covers. I don't know. I don't know what else to do here. I'm defeated. I am utterly defeated at this point. I think I'll just do what I can, tighten down the bolts. I'm not sure if that rear one's going to work either. I haven't looked at that yet. But just don't even bother. I really regret not just getting a 4-liter head at this point, because this has just been the most difficult, unnecessary, pain in the ass valve cover job ever. I'd rather have like a Chevy Traverse where you have to drop the front subframe just to get the rear valve cover off, because at least then everything just goes together. This, and it's off by a good ways too. So I don't know what else to do. I think I'm just going to take a quick chill break, because I'm ready to just punch holes through walls at this point. This cost $180, and they can't fucking drill holes right. Why? I just do not understand. $180 fucking valve cover. Maybe it's a cheap knockoff. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But looks like the same shit everyone else gets. So the only thing I could do is maybe Dremel that hole. Dremel it. I don't have a Dremel though. But there's just nothing else. Alright guys, I had to chill out for a while because that's $180, you know, doesn't fit. But I got this tool. It's a little air Dremel. Now you're not supposed to use these on aluminum, as you can see. Oh, if the camera will ever focus, but you can see the little melted shards of aluminum in the bit there. But nonetheless, I was able to elongate the hole. In fact, if you can look carefully, you can see the little crack where the original hole was. It was off by just so little, but still, I mean, honestly, if it's $180 asking price, I mean, I think this was sold through a third person, but still, I mean, these were never really cheap. I think at the lowest, maybe $60. But, I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, just drill little damn holes in the right spot. I mean, it's not like it's a one-off custom piece job and someone made, oh shoot, I'm off a millimeter. No, this is a production piece, you know. It's like, you know, Ford made these cars, but one of the wheel bearings, or the wheel studs is off a little bit. Oops. Well, I mean, I know it's just a valve cover, not a wheel bearing, but still. Anyway, I got it threaded in. I got that bolt in. I had to punch through the gasket and just run a little simple screw in there just to kind of chew out the rest of it. And that bolt went in, so that, I mean, missing gasket hole, no problem. So, those bolts are threaded in. I didn't thread in that last one, but I'm pretty sure it'll go in. I was really concerned about this one, and thank God, I think it's threading in. So at least that hole lines up, because if that didn't line up, I mean, there'd just be no way in hell this thing would have to come out just to Dremel it out or something. But luckily, it's threading in. Now it's tricky. I have like a little socket, Allen head like piece there. Basically, it looks just like the one over there. You can see it right there. And that barely fits. And then this extension isn't really in all the way on top of it because you have to be at a weird angle. You could probably use a universal joint and come in this way. I haven't tried it. I'm not sure if that will work because the angle would have to be so massive. But it feels like it's threading in, so thank goodness. Sounds like it's tightening it down too. So now I'm worried about any metal particles, especially with the dremeling. Because if there is any in there, I didn't have any chance to wipe it out. So I will be, come Monday, getting a new oil filter. This thing will run a day with metal shavings in it, maybe. But, you know, what can you do? So I'll give it a fresh oil change just to be sure. You guys should be too, since you're drilling. That'd be the ideal way to go. Sorry if I'm not really pointing straight. I'm kind of paying attention to what I'm doing. Breathing into the phone mic. Yeah, feels like it's threading in. It is easy to go through here, stick your hand in there to get started. No, there's a little bit of space. Yeah, it's threading in. Just about down. Oh my god. That was the one that was really scaring me, because I figured if that ain't lining up, that chances are that won't either. That's why I got so pissed off, because I was figuring, okay, this isn't going to work. And you want to tighten these down evenly. I started with this one, then I went to this one, and trying to use a star pattern. I guess I'm going to go with this one, and then this one, and then that one, and that one, and that one. I think that would work pretty well. Otherwise, a swirl pattern, yeah, you know. Yeah, it feels tight. There we go. There we go. Hey, it did sit in all the way. No, it didn't. My extensions, as you can see, aren't perfectly straight, so they can go in a little bit of an angle. But I didn't even start it out. I kind of like had it barely in there and just kind of carefully turning it to get started. I think as it went down, it could straighten up a little bit more. That's how you get the rear one. Granted, it lines up. I feel sorry for anyone who just didn't line up. But, yeah. There we go. Don't want to tighten it down too much. But yeah, that's what I got. 3/16. This is what, 5? No, it can't be. I'm not good. Yeah, 7/32. I'm not good with the American measuring. No one really is. They just happen to remember it enough times to get it down. That's why everyone uses metric. But yeah. Alright. Alright. Let's keep going in. Alright guys, a bit of a jump forward. It's fully assembled. I know I skipped a lot of parts, but there probably really wasn't much to see that you couldn't probably guess already. But it's all together. I got all the loose ends for all the belts. Electric connector, except the little underhood light, just plug that in. Everything is in. Oil's good. Carburetor probably had to be filled up a little bit, so it'll probably crank over a little bit. But I think we're gonna go ahead and start it up and see what we got for going for leaks. All the bolts tightened. Wiper motor's in. Belt's probably a little too tight, but whatever. Squeaked like hell. Every time the thing tried stalling out, and I had to kick it back a life real fast, so whatever. Need to lay off the energy drinks. Like I said, this probably won't really want to start up because the fuel bowl is probably empty from the open fuel line I had to take apart. It already sounds different. Oh, vacuum leak. I can hear it. That's a hell of a vacuum leak. It's just got a very heavy cam in it, guys, that's all. Should just leave it like that. I'm pretty sure I know where it's at, too. Just a very heavy cam is all, guys. I'll just stay in here. No? Still another one. Huh. There we go. Alright. I gotta figure out where that vacuum line fell in. I hate vacuum. Oh, I gotta plug that back in too. Yeah. You can't see anything. What am I doing? There we go. See, there's a fuel burning up, oil burning up from the back, the oil leak before. I knew these vacuum lines were going to give me trouble too. Vacuum. Think so. Old bitch too. Fuck's sake. We gotta just shut it down, really. Yeah, I'm gonna shut it down real fast and get this. I need two hands. Okay, I believe we got that sorted out. The vacuum line's back there a little loose, and we'll put them together in the cam part a little bit. I'll probably keep doing that for a while. There we go. See? Runs nice. No more super heavy mother thumper cam there. But yeah, I guess we'll just be looking for leaks, which I'm sure they'll be all over the place, right? I'm sure they won't show up immediately either. Unless that's one right there. Or it's just wet silicone. Yeah, silicone's just a little wet yet. Although it's not really supposed to fully dry either. As the bottle says, which I believe I threw in here. Yep. Permatex. Forma gasket sealant, non-hardening, pliable sealant, so I don't think it's really supposed to. That's where all the old oil is leaking, as you can tell. All the smoke flying out of there. But, yeah, I'll give it a while and just kind of keep checking up on it. I'm sure there's oil leaks other places in the engine, like around the rear mainsail and that. But it runs great, so I can make it to work at least. Right? Yeah, it's a healthy engine. Well, I think I'm going to reward myself with beer. I don't know about you guys. I think that was worthy of a beer. A damn good one too. Holy shit. Well, anyway, that's installing a freaking valve cover on an AMC. Stop a leak and hopefully stop that from happening more. Wait for all that shit to burn off and degrease the hell out of the engine. Runs nice though, gotta admit. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, guys.